Charlie's wasn't random. It was scheduled.
He set it up in a way that, like, okay, you're saying something that's actually factually inaccurate,
right,
according to the narrative. Now, let's be real clear. I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on with this.
I know.
Really.
I almost texted you when the Charlie Kirk thing happened because my antennas went up about, they showed the photo of that kid, or the guy that they have, the 22-year-old,
yeah,
whatever. And I was almost going to be like, dude.
This kid had a rifle with a scope. Now, here's where it gets weird. The first images of this rifle with a scope, I swear to God, it looks like he has a composite stock on it. Like, it looks like a modern 30-06 rifle. There was that one guy who was the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? He took his pants down. This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombings.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb at another place. And then he did this at this thing. Right after, so somehow or another, this guy has the state of mind that the moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did. Then, ready for this? He gets arrested for child porn right away.
Right after this happened?
Oh, right away. He's in jail for child porn. Why is that? Well, now you...
When Joe Rogan speaks, people listen. When Elon Musk replies, even with just one word, the internet explodes. But this time, their quiet exchange wasn't about rockets, AI, or comedy. It was about something darker. A single podcast clip, a like from Musk, a cryptic post from Candace Owens. 3 moments that, when you line them up, hint at a story far stranger than anyone expected. A story that circles back to one name the internet can't stop whispering: Charlie Kirk's widow. Why are these 3 power players, a comedian, a billionaire, and a political firebrand, suddenly tied to the same unspoken secret? What do they know that the public doesn't? And why does every clue lead back to a moment that was supposed to be final, but somehow isn't? This isn't gossip. It's a pattern. Quiet signals scattered across interviews, tweets, and half-deleted posts, pointing toward a truth that refuses to stay buried. Stay with me, because by the time we're done, you'll realize they weren't dropping random comments. They were leaving breadcrumbs. And together, those breadcrumbs might expose what really happened and why no one wants you to see it. Before Rogan ever mentioned it, before Musk's cryptic lake, before Candace whispered about a diary, there was the story itself. And from the beginning, something about it felt off. It was supposed to be clear-cut, a sudden event, a tragedy, quickly explained, and neatly closed. But it wasn't neat. It wasn't clear, and nothing about it felt accidental.
The first reports came fast, almost too fast, repeating the same phrasing across outlets, as if they were all reading from one pre-written script. A rifle found nearby, a note that may not have been a note, a widow who refused to comment. But in between those lines were details that didn't belong. The weapon was described as military grade, yet the image that leaked hours later showed a model almost no military would ever use. A custom scope, clean barrel, no fingerprints. And then there's the timestamp. Police logs say the emergency call came in at 9:47, but someone posted about the incident on social media at 9:32, 15 minutes before it supposedly happened. That post vanished within the hour, yet screenshots survived, spreading through subreddits, archived threads, and forgotten corners of X. Coincidence? Maybe, but it wouldn't be the last. Then came the photo, the one almost no one saw in time. A clean, well-lit shot of the rifle resting on concrete. No sign of struggle, no signs of chaos. Framed perfectly, as if someone wanted that image to be seen, but only for a moment, because 32 minutes later, it was gone. Deleted from news sites, replaced by low-resolution copies, stripped of metadata. Whoever took that photo didn't want it traced. And that's when the silence began. Police refused further comment, the widow disappeared from public view, major networks went quiet, almost in unison. And then days later, Joe Rogan mentioned the story.
Not by name, not directly, but with a pause that made millions stop scrolling. He said he'd been following this case quietly. He hesitated waited, as if debating whether to keep talking, and then changed the subject. It lasted 7 seconds, but for those 7 seconds, it felt like he'd confirmed what everyone else was trying to hide. And that moment, that hesitation, became the spark that lit the fuse. It started with a sentence most people almost missed. On a random episode, halfway through a casual conversation, Rogan's tone shifted. His posture changed. And for a few seconds, he wasn't joking. He wasn't riffing. He was careful. He said quietly, "I've been following that case secretly." 7 words. No details, no names. Just a flicker. A moment of hesitation that didn't sound like entertainment. His guest didn't push. Rogan looked down, and then just as quickly he laughed and changed the topic. But if you slow it down, the glance, the micro smile, the way he exhaled before moving on, it feels like he wanted to say more, almost as if someone told him not to. Later, when viewers clipped the segment, they noticed something else. He almost said a name. You can see his lips start to form the letter C before he stops himself. C, yeah, never mind. One tiny syllable, but it was enough. The comment sections erupted. C for Charlie? C for Candace? C for cover-up? No one knew, and that was the genius of it.
Rogan didn't accuse anyone. He didn't claim anything. He just hinted. And in doing so, he lit a fire. Within hours, clips flooded TikTok, Reddit threads multiplied, and YouTube titles screamed, "Rogan knows something." And yet, through all of it, Rogan stayed silent. No clarification, no follow-up, just a quiet like on one comment under his post that read, "Sometimes the truth speaks louder when you don't say it." Think about that. A man known for saying everything suddenly choosing to say nothing. It's not proof, it's not evidence, but it's the kind of silence that echoes. And when Elon Musk noticed that moment and responded in his own cryptic way, the story went from strange to something else entirely. While Rogan's clip was spreading like wildfire, Elon Musk was watching. He didn't tweet about it, he didn't name names, he just liked one post. A post that read, "When the truth finally comes out, some of your heroes won't look like heroes anymore." That single gesture, one tap on a screen, was enough to shift the conversation overnight. Within hours, #MuskKnows trended worldwide. Some said he was trolling. Others believed he was signaling something bigger, something connected to the same story Rogan had brushed past. And then, as if to fuel the confusion, Musk posted a quote of his own. "Silence is a language too." No context, no reply, just that sentence. It sat there for 42 minutes before he deleted it.
But screenshots survive. They always do. A billionaire with nothing to gain doesn't post that kind of message by accident, especially not when the entire internet is dissecting every move. And what happened next made it even stranger. In one of his Spaces sessions, a listener asked about the rumor directly. Musk paused, you can hear the static of his mic, and said, "Sometimes it's better to let people reveal themselves." That was it. No names, no follow-up, just another riddle dropped into the chaos. And as his words ricocheted through social media, Candace Owens entered the picture. Not to clarify, but to complicate everything even more. While Rogan chose silence and Musk spoke in riddles, Candace Owens chose something different. She showed people things. It began as a quiet post, a black and white image of handwritten lines. No caption, no explanation, just one sentence circled in red. "I don't know who I can trust anymore." Within minutes, theories erupted. Was it real, a prop, a metaphor? Then she confirmed it. "These are parts of his notes, some things I can't show yet." The words "can't show yet" echoed louder than the sentences themselves. She turned a private pain into a public mystery, revealing fragments, but never the full page. Lines blurred on purpose, as if someone had smeared the truth just enough to make you lean closer. In another clip, Candace held the notebook up, only for a second. You could barely make out the phrases. "They're watching. She knows. Not an accident." 3 phrases, each more haunting than the last. Then the clip vanished, deleted within the hour. When followers asked why, she replied, "Some things aren't safe to keep online." That comment alone reignited the fire. Because if these were just personal reflections, why fear their exposure? People started matching handwriting, analyzing
analyzing ink strokes, even decoding her pauses during interviews. But here's the strangest part. Several close friends claimed she never mentioned any diary before that week. So where did it come from? And why reveal it now, right after Musk's cryptic post, right after Rogan's hint? Intentional timing or coincidence? Whatever the truth, Candace's fragments gave the mystery a heartbeat again. They weren't just pages, they were proof of fear. Fear of being watched, fear of someone close, fear that what happened wasn't what it seemed. And that fear spread, not just through her followers, but through every corner of the internet. Because if her pages were real, then someone, somewhere, knew exactly what and who she was afraid of. It didn't take long for the internet to lose its mind. The second Candace's leaked notes hit the web, TikTok lit up like a live wire. Reddit threads multiplied by the hour. YouTube commentators, Twitter detectives, anonymous insiders. Everyone had a theory. Some said the note was Charlie's desperate warning, a clue left behind before everything went wrong. Others insisted it was fake, that Candace was staging a spectacle, exploiting grief to chase attention. But no matter what side you were on, the energy was the same, obsessive. Every pause in Rogan's podcast became a code, every Musk like a message, every blurred page from Candace a hidden confession. Theories began to split, like cracks in glass. One side believed a massive cover-up was unraveling, that Charlie Kirk's final days were surrounded by people who didn't want the truth to get out. The other side claimed it was all performance, a carefully orchestrated social experiment between three power players testing just how far the internet could be pushed. Still, one detail united them all. The timing was too perfect to ignore. Elon's cryptic tweet, Rogan's podcast pause, Candace's diary drop, 3 events in the same week, each feeding the next like chapters in a script no one admitted to writing. And then came the decoding era. People slowed videos frame by frame, zooming in on handwriting, on reflections in Candace's glasses, on Rogan's expression mid-sentence. TikTok accounts turned into investigation hubs. Threads titled Hidden Truth Full Breakdown hit millions of views overnight. Users compared Musk's phrasing to past cryptic tweets, like a secret language only the initiated could understand. Sometimes silence says it all, Elon wrote, and that line, just 6 words, became a global headline. Was it directed at Candace? At Rogan? Or was it a warning to the public? Nobody knew.
But everybody had an answer. Even major news outlets that swore off conspiracy talk started covering it, not to report, but to deny. And that, ironically, made it all worse, because every denial became proof. Every silence became confirmation. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds, belief versus logic, evidence versus emotion. But there was one thing no one could deny. This wasn't just gossip anymore. It had become a movement. The internet wasn't asking what happened to Charlie Kirk. It was asking who was controlling the story. And in that chaos, something deeper began to take shape. Not just rumors, but revelation. Because while the internet argued, a new question started echoing quietly beneath the noise. If everyone's looking for the truth, who's making sure we never find it? After the noise came the silence. And that's when things got louder than ever. Joe Rogan stopped addressing the topic. Elon Musk, no more tweets. Candace Owens, no more live streams. Just quiet. But silence in this story wasn't absence. It was strategy. Each of them vanished at the peak of attention, right when the internet was begging for answers. And in that vacuum, something eerie happened. The audience started speaking for them. Every missing word became a headline. Every deleted post became proof. Every pause turned into power. It's the oldest trick in manipulation. Make people fill in the blanks themselves, because what we imagine is always more powerful than what's said out loud. Elon knew that. Rogan mastered it. Candace weaponized it. Together, whether intentionally or not, they discovered the most effective modern tool of control: strategic silence. You don't need to shout to be heard anymore. You just need to stop talking at the right moment. The internet does the rest. Forums kept dissecting Rogan's last sentence as if it hid coordinates. Threads mapped Elon's deleted likes like breadcrumbs on a trail. And fans clipped Candace's one-liners, playing them backward, looking for coded meaning in her pauses. It wasn't about what they said anymore. It was about what they allowed to echo. Silence became the stage. Theories became dialogue. And we, the audience, became the writers. It's psychological jujitsu on a global scale. Say less
less, watch more, let curiosity turn into conviction, because the quieter they got, the louder the story became. And that's when people started realizing maybe the biggest secret isn't buried in any diary or tweet. Maybe it's hidden in the quiet between them. The power of silence isn't about hiding the truth. It's about controlling it. In the end, the story isn't just about a leaked diary, a cryptic tweet, or a podcast pause. It's about what happens when silence becomes louder than words, when every glance, every hesitation, every deleted post is amplified into obsession. Rogan hinted, Musk teased, Candace revealed fragments, and in the spaces between their words, the internet wrote its own story. That's the strange power of the digital age. The truth isn't always determined by facts. It's shaped by attention, by speculation, and by the silence people fill in themselves. So here's the question for you. How much of what you believe is really true? And how much is a story that someone else is letting you write in your mind? In a world obsessed with noise, maybe the real power isn't in shouting louder, but in knowing when to stop. And when that silence falls, all of us start listening. What would you see if you paid attention to the spaces between the words? What would you discover if you listened to the quiet?